All right, let's go to the one of the
Oh
rematch of the
yeah.
Super Bowl. This is gonna be a
Whew.
good Monday nighter.
Yeah.
Both teams coming off a bye. You got the Eagles at the Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 3. The total's 46, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN ABC. Luck rankings, and both of these teams in the top 8 in terms of most luckiest. Nothing really on the total either. So
Yeah.
we'll get right into it. The captain spot. Who do you like?
I'm going with AJ Brown. He's always been one of the better wide receivers in the game, but this year he's taken it to a whole new level. 7 straight games now with either 125 yards and or a touchdown. And now with Dallas Goedert expected to miss a handful of games, should see his target rate go up even more if that was even possible. And it's a game where the Eagles probably going to be more pass heavy. They're 3-point underdogs in KC, so everything's setting up for Brown to have a big game here. I know he's going to be popular. I don't care. We'll get creative with the flex plays, but got to go with AJ Brown in the captain slot here.
Yeah, he's been on a tear. So like that. I'm gonna go with Kelsey. I think he's like you can't fade Kelsey against a defense that ranks 32nd dead last in DVOA against tight ends. We'll see. Maybe they'll do some things with coverage to try to take him away, but he put up just 26 yards in the last game. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It was not 20. It was 14. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so he put up a season low 14 yards in the last game. So he's going to want to bounce back, and coming out of the bye, I'm sure they'll have some creative ways to get him the football and get him some catches and get Taylor cheering for him again. So, you can't just let Travis Kelce come off a 14-yard game and not let him go ham in the next one in a Super Bowl rematch. So yeah. I think he is going to be a major point scorer and producer in this one. So I'm willing to pay up at least in some spots for him. Who do you like for value?
This game is sort of a mix of studs and scrubs, so I would consider more of a dart throw, but I do like Justin Watson here. Sort of a, value play kind of guy because, he's out there, over 70% of the time. Mahomes is dropping back and, it's a low volume downfield threat. So, he could break the slate with just a couple catches. And we've talked about it, but he's essentially who we expected MVS to be in this offense. It's really Watson is, Mahomes' guy downfield. And, he was dealing with a hand injury. So maybe following the bye week, he's closer to 100%. I would imagine he is. So I think in terms of upside, I think Watson is the most appealing play in the sort of mid-range plays.
Yeah, it's been so hard to project how these Chiefs wide receivers are going to shake out, but Watson's been pretty consistently, getting about 50% of the snaps, and it actually jumped up even more in that last game before the bye. So we'll see if that continues, but definitely been something to watch.
Yeah, do you know if Richie James is returning this week? Like, have you?
He's eligible. I'm not sure if he will return, but I don't know what his role would be. He'd probably just be like the Montrell Washington role at this point. Returner. Yeah, because he got Hardman here too, so I don't know if they need him as much as they did, earlier in the year.
Right. Yeah, he won't impact someone like Watson. It's just Tony, Hardman, those guys, those rotational guys. He'll probably take snaps from if he even plays.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. I like Rashee Rice here. I know you're kind of down on him this week, but I actually like him in this spot because number one, I love targeting rookies coming off, bye weeks, and I think this is the time of the season when you're going to see him potentially separate himself because he's been their most productive receiver, but he really hasn't been getting the playing time that you would think for a guy that has been their most productive receiver. He's kind of topped out at about 60% routes run rate, so that could go up. But also, I feel like Philadelphia is still, vulnerable over those, short intermediate areas. They still give up a lot on the outside, but also, on the inside, Nakobe Dean is hurt. I think Rashee Rice can do some things kind of in that short to intermediate area. Usually they're going to use like MVS and Watson is those downfield guys to open things up. And Philadelphia has been a better defense on deep passes than they have been on short passes. So they're 25th in DVOA on short passes, but 19th on deep passes. So I do think this kind of sets up for Rice to have a good game. So I'm going with him in the value plays, but I mean it's a toss up with these receivers. I like Watson too because I think Watson's always slept on. People don't realize that he's playing as many snaps. But yeah, Rice. I got to go back to Rice here because he's still decent price and pretty productive.
No, I agree. And to be clear, first when I initially started doing our outline, I put him in my high on guys because I thought, he's like a high upside wide receiver 4. I think after the bye week he could step up, and then I saw my rank compared to ECR and I was minus 15. So I was like, shit, I gotta go the other way. I just wanted to bring him up and discuss him. So I agree, and I think one of the common things I've heard people talk about is they need somebody other than Kelsey who can step up. So maybe the bye week they're really getting Rashee Rice to really step up and not be Tyreek Hill, but have like a real number one receiver, because that's kind of what they're missing here. So I wouldn't be shocked if he has a good game. I'm probably going to get closer to your rank by the end of the week, but just wanted to be clear. I wasn't necessarily down on Rice. I was high. I just noticed my initial rank at least was pretty low.
Yeah, he's been fairly consistent. Hasn't had like a monster blow up game, but he's had 56 yards and or a touchdown in all but 2 of his games, so 7 out of his 9 games. So yeah, it's not too bad for Rice. But who do you like for dart throws?
Well, I'm getting wild here. Let's go with Albert O.
Nice.
Dallas Goedert's out. He's out for a few games, I think. So Jack Stoll should probably lead the tight end group in routes run, but he doesn't have much upside. I wouldn't go that route. Grant Calcaterra is questionable with the concussion, and he's very talented. He could certainly step up in the Goddard role, but the fact that he's out with a concussion scares me because that's why he fell to the 6th round. I think he was probably like a 4th round talent, but he had like a concussion history in college. So the fact that he has a concussion scares me. Maybe he's out again this week. So I think it'd be Albert O who could step up as, the main pass catching tight end. Certainly it's not a given. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Albert O is Albert 0 this week, but he's certainly worth a flyer, and we'll probably know more by the time the game starts or closer to kickoff. But it wouldn't shock me if he runs around on 35-40% of Jalen's dropbacks, and he's a capable pass catcher. So we'll see. But I think he's definitely worth a dart throw here. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, he would be the receiving tight end kind of replacement in that situation. So he could see a big jump, especially. I mean, if Calcaterra is out, he has to. But, I'm going to go with Kenny Gainwell for my dart throw. I think this is one of those matchups where, him being playing a little bit more on passing downs can come into play here, because you don't usually see the Eagles. They're 8-1, but this is a game they're 3-point underdogs. So this could be a negative game script for them. And we've seen, DeAndre Swift, he's getting on average about 70% of the designed backfield carries, but when it comes to the routes, he was down to 44% last game, 56% the game before, whereas Gainwell is around 30-35%. So the split is a lot closer when it comes to passing down work for those two. And so you would get leverage on DeAndre Swift, who obviously is expected to lead the backfield in touches. You would get leverage on him and a guy who should be getting some work in the pass game. And you could see an uptick for a guy like Gainwell just because of the absence of Dallas Goedert, because I'm not sure what's going on with Quez Watkins. Is he coming back this week? I think he might be out. No, he's
no,
game.
He's
one
done.
more game. So yeah. So Julio, I guess, will be back on the roster, and you have Zacchaeus there, but I would think they would look to target a guy like Gainwell over those guys for the most part. So yeah, I think Gainwell could see a little bit of uptick. And the number 3 back, whether it's Scott or Penny, hasn't really been playing much for the Eagles this year. So I think Gainwell could have a pretty good game in the spot. All right. That is going to do it for the week number 11 Night Shift podcast. Be sure to check the full list of luck rankings over at actionnetwork.com. Bad beat on the what was it? The Steelers? Weren't they the top luck ranking? No, the Packers were the top luck ranker play.
Yeah.
In the last 6 years, and they miss an extra point and at plus 3.5. I mean, that's talk about luck. Talk about unlucky.
Yeah, we need a luck ranking. That was up there. That lateral was bad too. The Steelers. Yeah, that was pretty rough. But yeah, that was a rough game. Especially I bought that half point with that missed extra point. Damn, hurts.
That is painful. Yeah, but trust the process, keep it going. Yeah. Like I said, in these couple of matchups, both matchups, the teams have been lucky, but the luck rankings are pointing toward the under in the Vikings and Broncos game. But yeah, be sure to check out the full list, actionnetwork.com, for more great fantasy content from Sean and I. Our full player projections episode is out right now over on the Action Network podcast channel, and our fantasy preview episode where we break down the main slate, that is right here on the Fantasy Flex. actionnetwork.com for all of our NFL fantasy and betting content, fantasylabs.com for our DFS tools and models. Don't forget to join the Action Network Discord, and the link will be in the episode. The link will be, don't forget to join the Action Network Discord server. That'll be linked in the episode description, and you can find Sean on X at @_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon, and we're at those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. Good luck this weekend. Let's get this shmoney.